This is Rap Son, worshiping the Most High God of Israel alone and carrying on the legacy and teachings of my dear father and our dear messenger, Rap the News. Shalom, family. We are on the 6th seal, and on the 7th it is done. Revelation 16:12. And the 6th angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings in the east might be prepared.
From satellite image, it shows clearly that the Euphrates River is extremely drying up. The Euphrates River is the longest and the most important river in the Middle East. Since the last 2 decades, the Euphrates is continuously drying up. The river is significantly smaller than it was just a few years ago. Officials worry that it could soon be a country with no river. The shrinking of the Euphrates, a river so crucial to the birth of civilization, has decimated farms along its banks, has left fishermen impoverished,
Malachi 1 verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the borders of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Jeremiah 50:38. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols.
Utah's Great Salt Lake is shrinking, and kayaker Brian Footen runs a company called Earthviews, and it's documenting its demise. He tells CBS News he uses a 360-degree camera so anyone can see what's left.
So 30 years ago, we would have been over there along the side of the mountain, and there would have been a shoreline actually, not a lake bed.
Back then, the Great Salt Lake covered some 3,000 square miles. Now, it's at its lowest level ever recorded, covering less than 1,000.
Natural wonders emerging from a submerged past, but doing so at an alarming pace because of climate change. And one place this is happening is Lake Powell along the Utah-Arizona border. The lake is a storage basin for the Southwest's dwindling supply of water, also a source of hydropower. And a mega drought has drained the lake to historically low levels.
They've been casting along these canyons for decades.
Hey, caught one.
They're worried that the wall in front of their favorite fishing hole will just keep getting taller.
I'm looking at spots that 30, 40 feet up the wall where my bait was hitting where I was fishing just a year ago.
So you're saying literally a year ago, this boat we're on right now would have been 30, 40 feet up there?
Yep. It's absolutely crazy how much it's come down.
Lake Powell has dropped nearly 40 feet in just 1 year. These satellite images show how quickly it has shriveled up during a 22-year-long mega drought. As climate change makes the West hotter and drier, this massive reservoir is now less than 24% full.
This week, local officials in Southern California started restricting water use, including watering of lawns, to once or twice a week for about 6 million residents. It's also having a major impact on Lake Mead, which is a major source of water for agriculture and for millions of people in the American West. The mega drought is connected intimately with climate change, of course.
The Colorado River Basin, a lifeline of the American Southwest, is shrinking. And with it, the country's 2 largest reservoirs are going dry. Just 30 miles east of Las Vegas sits Lake Mead on the border of Arizona and Nevada. It's the largest man-made reservoir in North America. Lake Mead pumps water from the Colorado River to nearly 25 million people. It's a major water source for residents and tribes in Arizona, Nevada, California, and parts of Mexico.
About 75% of the water goes to irrigation for agriculture that supplies about 60% of the food for the nation that's grown in the United States.
But the lake has been declining for decades due to rising temperatures and climate change. Cracked earth and mud where water used to be. Now it's only 30% full.
What a mess. What an absolute mess. I mean, each time you say, oh, this is different than it was. What's it going to be like in October? What's it going to be like next April?
He's been making research trips on it for decades, but he's never seen the river this low.
Look at this.
Yeah, you used to be able to back a truck in here right into the water.
Is this new this year, essentially?
Yeah, it's happened within the past 6 months.
The Colorado is the lifeline of the American Southwest. It runs nearly 1,500 miles, supplying water and electricity to 7 states and Mexico. Some 40 million people rely on its resources. This part of the river was once the upper end of Lake Powell, one of the 2 main reservoirs.
Lake Powell filled for the first time in 1980. That concrete ramp was filled with houseboats, people backing in motorboats, people water skiing, and now look at that. Essentially, 1999-2000 was the last time the water was up at the base of that concrete ramp. And now it's lower than it's ever been.
It's not only Powell. Lake Mead, the river's other major reservoir, above the Hoover Dam, is only about a third full. Unless things change, which they won't, which they won't, which they won't, major cutbacks are coming, starting with Arizona farmers. When that happens, a lot of farms will look like Nancy Kaywood's. She relies on water from another river, a tributary to the Colorado. But it got so low, she was totally cut off. She was totally cut off. She was totally cut off.
I mean, is this...
Take a look.
Is this dead now?
Well, we don't think it's going to green back up.
What were you growing here?
Alfalfa.
Uh-huh.
See the seed lines?
Uh-huh.
And how it's just all dead. Our dam has no water. We have no water, period. We have no water. We have no water.
This is Rap Son.